I'm Maya Hayaka. Money Daily starts right now. Although emerging markets can present a great opportunity for business growth, they also present greater risks than developing markets. In the second half of the year, countries like Kenya, Angola and Chad will hold general elections, which are normally accompanied by elevated political-related risks for businesses. In 2017, Kenya's economy shed 1% of its national output due to prolonged electioneering period, while the postponement of Nigeria's 2019 polls by a week cost the economy $2.2 billion, according to Lagos-based research firm SBM Intel. But elections is not the only political risks facing businesses operating in Africa today. In fact, a majority of them are underprepared, reactive, and lacking confidence in their ability to navigate those risks successfully. So how can businesses better mitigate and manage political risks? That's what we're going to answer right now with Dr. Anthony Francis, who joins us now live, the Executive Director for Partnership for African Social and Governance Research, a non-profit organization that works to promote good governance. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Maya.
So tell me, how do I, as a business owner, identify and assess risks that are related to my business?
Well, there are several ways to think about how you can identify risks. But I think what is important for businesses to realize is to what extent their businesses are ready to actually absorb the risks. You know, put the cost element into the risk, evaluate the extent to which such cost the business can withstand such cost, and what are the mitigation measures. Now, there are so many ways. These days we have internet, we have, with respect to political elections that is coming across the continent, I think information is actually, there's a lot of information overload. So businesses need to be aware. They need to be aware of the environment to understand what is happening, shift in demands, shift in the market preferences, shift in policies across the continent, across countries. It's very important for businesses to be hooked into the information networks.
And are these risks limited to just the elections period?
Not necessarily, because risks are always there. Because we know, for example, in the past, World Bank used to have cost of doing business, right? One of the things they used to assess was, you know, business risk, regulatory environment within which businesses will operate. So this is important. Political risk, during election, of course, the level of risk elevates. It becomes bigger, but of course, across the board, the regime, you know, policy regulations, these are risks that can always be there. So it's not only during elections, it's only political cycles.
Right.
I think they are continuous, and it's important for business to continue to assess and be vigilant around what are the risks and how do they mitigate them.
It's really interesting. When I was speaking to a few business leaders, they said some of them haven't actually recovered even from the last elections. And then because you have things like COVID and now the Ukraine crisis. So what can SMEs who can't necessarily afford some form of insurance do to protect their businesses?
So one way is, so by and large, most of our businesses are very small. And I think most of governments in Africa, they do have guarantee schemes to support and cushion businesses. We have seen, for example, during COVID, central banks have had credit guarantee schemes to support businesses. But what I think it's also important for businesses also, you don't have money to buy insurance, but there's knowledge about what kind of risk am I facing? Can my business, as I said before, withstand such pressure? And what do I need to do? You as an individual, as a business person, I think that's very important. And of course, the regulatory environment, as I said, government has a role to play, private sector has a role to play. And then how do we have an ecosystem where businesses can be supported in instances where there are risks? That's very important.
I love how you put that. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. Now, a quick look at other stories making